Welcome to Zulu Foxtrot News. I'm your host, Mariah Goff, and today I have my special guest with me, Staff Sergeant Dakota Goff. Staff Sergeant Dakota Goff is also part of the 20th Special Forces. He's a team leader there, and he works in conjunction with the Orange County Sheriff's Department, coordinating with their SWAT team. How are you today?
I'm good.
Well, it's good to have you in the studio with us.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you very much.
Staff Sergeant Goff, let's talk a little bit more that you do, because it sounds kind of dangerous.
Yeah, so I'm currently a part of the 20th Special Forces Group, which is a National Guard unit here in Florida. They're a specialized unit of Green Berets with a particular mission set. I am also currently working with the Orange County Sheriff's Department. Okay. I am a squad leader for the SWAT team. Basically, I make sure that things running functionally with the teams, and I make sure that the guys are trained and have everything that they're doing, and most of the time I lead the ops. So.
Okay. And what made you kind of decide to choose this career path? What makes you do this type of work?
So back in college, we had a professor, and this was for my new student experience class. We ended up doing a project where we had to come up with a purpose statement, and it had to be something that was deeply connected to us, and it was like a sentence or a quote that we came up with that had some sort of deep connection that would kind of guide us in whatever direction it was that we were choosing, both academically and for our careers. And for me, my purpose statement was to protect those that couldn't protect themselves and to safeguard those that I care about.
So in this particular class, did they give you any type of a test or any type of analysis that gave you an idea of where your strengths were? In college, for this new student experience class, we took a strengths test. You basically take an exam, and then it gives you 5 traits that directly match to you. The 3 that stuck out to me were the restorative, the deliberative, and the analytical. The restorative one, I think, aligns directly with my purpose statement, and it lines very well with both of the careers I chose. Somebody with a restorative trait likes to find a problem and find a solution to the problem. The next one I think would be the deliberative, and these are people that they look into decisions. You know, they think about the decision before they make it, but they're very decisive. And you have to be in both. Leads me into the next topic, which is analytical. The analytical traits stuck out to me because these are people who they want to know the why. Those traits go hand in hand. They were one of the biggest reasons I chose the career path that I did. Okay. So you feel that by actually taking that test and figuring out the different themes, and it helped you determine your strengths, so you had a better understanding of what you wanted to do with your career and which direction you wanted to go?
Correct.
In terms of academics, what type of educational path did you have to pursue to get the skills that you currently have to perform these types of jobs? What would you recommend?
So there's a lot of different paths that you can take. The military in and of itself will give you the ability to pursue an education.
Did it help you?
It did. Law enforcement wise, there are steps and certifications you have to get. For me, it's highly important that I have a high education level, especially in both of my career fields, in the military and in law enforcement, because that's what's going to get you promoted. I chose to pursue a bachelor's degree in computer science. There's a lot of problem-solving skills and critical thinking skills that I obtained from pursuing that education that have benefited me in the long term. For my career, pretty much provided most of my education. I joined the military before going to college, and they have, especially the National Guard here, they have an EDD program, which is Educational Dollars for Duty. That program pays for all in-state tuition, no matter what college you go to. So that was one of the main ways that I paid to get my education. They took care of everything from books, from classes, all of that, and they pay for everything. I also used a GI Select Reserve bill, which is just some extra money that kind of helps out with your living expenses and stuff like that while you're currently going to college. And that can vary, you know, you can get anywhere from $200 to $600, and that just depends on how many classes you take, because the Army, especially the National Guard, the more classes you're taking, the more money they're gonna give you in order to help you achieve that education, because they want educated soldiers, so that way they can promote you and then they can have you lead soldiers and bring people up to do the same way. That you, especially if somebody's trying to look to get into the career fields that I'm in, you don't need an education to get into them necessarily. You do need that high school diploma, but it's very important to set yourself apart from this extremely competitive career fields, especially if you're pursuing something like special forces or SWAT.
So in addition to the military training that you received, you also went ahead and you got your associate's degree, and then you moved in and you got your bachelor's degree. But now for law enforcement, did you have to do any type of additional schooling, like maybe an academy or a certification?
Correct. So for both the military and for law enforcement, there are training processes. To get onto the SWAT team for Orange County Sheriff's Department, it's about a 2-day selection process. You have to go through a rigorous physical fitness, and they want to make sure that you as an individual are able to handle those situations from jump. You have the basic skill sets to be able to remain calm and learn and basically take in the training that they're going to give you, because SWAT team training is very, very extensive. And then the second day is more of a mental kind of selection process.
For somebody who's looking at like maybe pursuing these different types of courses and these different fields, what costs were for all of your training and all of your education?
For law enforcement specifically, for all of my education, the military basically paid for most of it. For my military training side, that's also paid for by the military, so luckily it's nothing out of my pocket. The military training was probably more extensive, just because you're learning to jump out of planes and you're learning how to shoot, move, and communicate. You're shooting thousands of rounds.
Well, it sounds like, you know, you've acquired some very valuable skills, and you were provided some very useful tools to help you, you know, achieve everything you have so far. And I wanted you to tell me just a little bit more in depth about like your actual career in terms of, I know that you said that you work with Orange County in terms of consulting, you know, in SWAT situations. You also work with SWAT. You're active in that. So tell us a little bit more about the Orange County Sheriff's Department.
So,
what your role is there.
For Orange County, I am a squad leader for the SWAT team, which basically means I'm allowed to go to the selection process for 20th Special Forces Group. And for the 20th Special Forces Group, the first 2 years of my career is just be all in. If you're going to do a career in either the military or in law enforcement, it's got to be who you are, and it's going to take a huge part of yourself. So,
well, thank you again for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come in and talk with us and talk to our viewers. This is Mariah Groff with Zulu Foxtrot News. Have a great evening.